Okay, and we continue. We continue opening packages in the Shabbos. V'siyat the Shemaya, Parak Tes, Siv Ches, page 117. Kufsa o etifa shel boine niyar. In case you don't know what that is, in the parentheses he tells you it's called a tissue. O niyar toilet, chatoch umikupal. That's called toilet paper. Loy yachtoich bahen pesach lefi asimonim shaboy. So you have a package for your tissues, for your toilet paper. Do not open them up according to the simonim, their purpurtia. So this is basically called that if you have a tissue box and you have the guy on top, you're not allowed to rip off that guy on Shabbos. Very simple. Ella, so what should you do? Ma'aseh Shabbos, and your tissue box is closed. What do? One option is don't use tissues. We're not going to ask what we're using instead. Okay. Number two is he says what? He says Eli Yikra Kufsa Azariza. You rip open the kufsa or the ariza, that's a box, or the package. Kach Shlaya Oiru Uya L'Shimush. So when you open the box of tissues like this is no longer fit for use. It's not like, oh, I can just like pull it out. No. It ends up, we all know that the third person that takes tissues, what happens? They're all over the floor. So that's called you destroy the box. This is a destroyed box of tissues, and that's a Mutter and Shabbos. Says Rishlema Zalman Arbach. Seems some have a minute to use their hands instead, but for those that would like, Rishlema Zalman is makel to open it up on this side. And the reason is, he says that, wash your hands afterwards. Thank you. Okay. Okay. He says the reason is, why should you not do it in Haralam Gimel? It's a Korea. It's not. Calls an Isser Korea. Okay. Siftes. Sakit Orizas Gurut Bisikut Mahadek. What are Sikut Mahadek? Called staples. Mutter staples. So for those who don't know, in the back, there's a dictionary. What? What do you say? Titans. Mahadek. Yeah, mahadek means tight. So if you look at the back, it says sikut mahadek. It's called a staple. That's what a staple is. A sikut mahadek. Then mutal asir is a sikut kedei leftoich isam. You're allowed to take out the staple. Why are you allowed to take out the staple? Says Haram Lamed Vav. V'kivich inkant fira. There's no taifer. Lamed Zayin. And why is there no taifer? Because it's only closed to open it afterwards. I don't really know packages that have staples in them nowadays, but l'chayr they exist. And Lamed Zayin, he says, Shamati v'shem Zalman. Now, it happens to be, there is, how do you take out the staple? You lose the back. So that's, again, this is something we'd have to come.
The reason why it's being taifer, because it seems like it's
good. So the opposite of taifer is untaifering, is korea. So what does it mean? Again, I'm just going to open it as a kasha. He says, mutal hasir sasik, you got to remove the staple. So does that mean you unfold the back and you pop out the staple? So if you look at Ar Lamed Zayin, he says, you heard from Shamzam, the other table, one second, why are you taking out the staple? This is relevant on laundry tags, cleaners tags in English. You want to get rid of that cleaners tag. America, what do they do? Right. In America, what do they do? They staple it also. No, in Eretz Yisrael, they write on your shirt with a marker and a Sharpie. They just like scribble on your shirt your name and they spell it wrong. So for Elayl and Void, the back of your shirt says like Finkelstein instead of Slansky because they just didn't know how to spell. How that makes sense, no one really knows. But he says better remove the staple than to rip it. El desarching ksas re'atir b'chaysle shel tamar nachtach shel shur zachevel. V'avnev shel hater akash she'inu shel giyam. And he lo yasim shebachatech v'seif slev u'kireya. He says, why is it not kireya? Chaynam the gavi kishrei ashvod. L'chayr yish la'ayin decrease a socket. Who time the psiach a goizing the little zeichel shabhem. Fully yish la'chal gavi a goizing der chayrs little zeichel. Here have another way. So he's saying it's better to remove the staple than to rip it open. The shaila really is if someone is going to be violent and say that the staple is taifer, and I believe this is going to boil down to a machlekes in the rules of taifer that Ramesha Feinstein might actually call it kaifer. That was kfira. Might actually call it taifer. and therefore, according to Ramosha, you should not remove the staple, and rather you should rip it open. When is this very relevant? It's very relevant on your cleaners tags in a world without an Eruv. So it's a massive shayla. What are you allowed to do? Are you allowed to leave it on or not? So is it make it part of the beged? Yeah, it's possible you don't care, but it's still very shver because it's not the tsura of the beged. It's not the tsura of the beged. Even if it's bottle and you don't care about it, it's not the tsura of the beged, and therefore it's shver. You're going to remove it. Pashtus is you should remove it. Ramesh actually says that when you do remove it, you should know that it's a mux in your hands. So don't like walk. I don't know. He says do it over the garbage can and drop it in. That's a muksa sugya. Lamaisa or Sham Zalman says you're allowed to remove the staple. Let her remove the staple. Sham Zalman says we're learning Sham Zalman. He says to remove the staple. I didn't look. I do believe that there is a Ramesha that would be machmer on staples, and lefi that I do think it would be better to rip it. B'makim one's able to rip it, but it is a point that
has the tag also.
no, that's not a staple. That's a totally different story. That's a nylon. That's a plastic tag. We're going to talk about that's called paisel psilem. It's going to be a different letter entirely, but let's get there. Number yud letter. Ledasa mekilin lev sif gimel, which the mekilin sif gimel is everything we're being built upon, which is Rosham Zalman. This is like the nostalgic orange juice containers that the tops of it are sealed. The cartons at the tops are sealed, and you don't reuse it, so you just open it up, and or the milk boxes, or a packaging that is surrounded with paper and it's connected. You have to fill the tanaim with sif gimel, which we're going to get to, which is going to be number one, destroy it, and number two, don't rip the letters. But he's saying is that you're allowed to open it. In Lamed Ches, on the bottom over here, he points out you should look in Ramosha, who obviously argues. Everyone knows that it's made to rip. He says a chiddush over there. Even though the packaging remains intact, you're still allowed to hold, or you're still allowed to do it. Now, the real question over here is, how are you opening this package? Sounds like it's a packaging. It's an arizah mudvakot. Sounds like either it's, let's say a box. Forget my orange container. You have a box that the flaps are sealed down. Yeah, so let's do that case. Kufzot karton sheksam mudvakos. That the lips are sealed. That's one case. Are you allowed to open it?
Like your tissue box.
Like my tissue box. Oh, like my tissue box. Yeah, that's a good example. Thank you. Like my tissue box was. Perfect. Thank you. Let's do this again. This is a kufzot karton. What? Everything matters. Everything matters. Everything matters. That it's sealed down. Or a kufsa which is surrounded with paper and it's glued. He says you're allowed to open it, but you have to fulfill the Tanaim in Sif Yud Gimel. So let's flip to Sif Yud Gimel before we do Sif Yud Aleph and Yud Beis, even though Yud Aleph is the Yontif, which we're going to get back to in a moment. Sif Yud Gimel, he says, what are the Tanaim that you're allowed to do the above? So it's a little bit complicated because it sounds like this is going back and really everything that we've said from Sif Gimel, all the Atirim. He says, Kishiyikra es aniyar ha'atifa. So anytime you have a packaging that you're ripping opening a packaging. Now, just again, you said something about food. Rishon is nowhere has he yet said that these things are only mutter because of food. I know that's what everyone says. He did not say that. And if you want to be particular in what we started with today, he was talking about a tissue box. I know tissues are not food. Do we eat tissues? No, we do not eat tissues. Thank you. So we're not talking about food. Well done. Well done. You will get an extra nug today. I'm not sure about you, but listen. Says the Shemiras Shabbos, Yikra and Nazir Derek Kilkul. He says it has to be Eifin Kilkul. You have to destroy it. And what does it mean? What does that mean, Eifin Kilkul? He translates it. Shaloi Yakbid, Likra B'Eifin Shadiyah Yachal Hashem Shal Matara Kolshi. You're not ripping it in a way that there's going to be another functionality to that which you're ripping off. Va'av Loi Chelik B'Menu, not even part of it. Kamai Toy Parsim Shemahavim Chelik Min Yar Tifa. Okay, we have parasim. This is you're ripping off part of like no, I think he's talking about a label that you rip off part of the label, the other parts less usage. We're going to come back to this. And then Bezis don't rip the letters. So those are the Tanaim of Gimel. Yeah, but so very good. So the pashtus, I was thinking the same thing. The pashtus is the fact that you're just keeping them in the box. It's not called a usage of the box. L'chayra, because what else is he talking about? He did not say you have to empty it. He says, I'm a nasl haiti darkes and yar. Finished.
Darkly.
No, you take it out. He didn't say you have to empty it out. I would have, if you would have said, like you're saying, in our Lamadality he says, that which is left in it. So it sounds like that's the case. It sounds like he does not say that you have to take out the whole thing. Does not sound that way. Again, are there machmirim like that? For sure. But that's what it sounds like. Now, how far does this go? We sort of have to talk about. Does this mean, did he just matter up opening the Mishpacha magazines? The packaging, I could rip open the package. Did he just matter opening up all toys? Kids' toys? Kids forgot to open the toy for Shabbos, you could open it? Sounds like he's being makel that as long as it's Dera Kilkel, and as long as, does he need a tzairich? Doesn't sound that way. Again, this is a little bit Korea, but yeah, in a Chanam.
But he's talking about food in every single one.
No, in the Chatz he's talking about tissues. We don't need tissues. That was Nachum type. That's why he will not get an extra nug today. You do not eat tissues. Okay, Sif Yud Aleph, very important. Sif Yud Aleph is very important because Sif Yud Aleph, I personally have a lot of trauma from. Personally. I'll just explain my own trauma. It's the way we get over traumas by telling it over to people in public. Sif Yud Aleph. You let it open up a nylon covering, or aluminum covering. Hadavik brosh givia machol. That's the top of a type of food. Kigoin, givia lavan. Givia lavan. There's two types of foods in Eretz Yisrael. One of them is a drink and one's a spread, which is one which no one in the world knows. And in the mirror, the different days to serve each one. If you get the wrong one and you try to drink it, you just pour cream cheese in your mouth. And if you try to spread the other one, you just spread milk. No, but it's like a watery yogurt. That took 10 years. That I never get over. The kids maybe. I think my kids did though. Anyways, they eat soy tofu. So what's it called? Corn schnitzel. Yeah, it doesn't count. Gavina or salat. Okay, all those cases you let it open the top. This is the regular tabs. You open it up. Af motor. And everyone says, wait, so I have yogurt. They come in package of 4 connected cups. So to open the top, can I crack open the yogurts? So many an overzealous beard get up and scream that it's ulcer. It's Daraisa maybe, you're makabepatish, you're making a kli, alazachin. Says Rosh Mizalmin, mutter, lahafrid, bain, shnei, kiviyai, leben, in case you weren't sure, what's that? Leben, thank you. Hamechubarim yachdav, that are connected. Ubelvad sheyekbid shalo yikra oisiyois oitsiyurim. Don't rip the letters. Ices and scream cheese, and lebens. Sakar Shemazalman, you're allowed to open. Now, the leben is obviously the biggest chiddush because when you open that up, you created a kli, a functioning kli. It's called a cup that eat the yogurt out of. The yogurt, excuse me. But they're saying two things. Number one is you could open the tab. Number two is you could crack it. Now, I will remind you, let's never forget the lechatchila to open everything before Shabbos, and this is one. No, not to open. Not forget about opening the top, separating them. They're different levels, Shaila. That's why it's a little bit. When you learn it this way, it's a little bit complicated. Because we're sort of just getting the end result of here. But this,
between American ones and Israeli ones.
Which one? Which part?
Non-kosher brands versus the kosher.
Which part? Which chalik you referring to?
The letters.
On the thing.
Yeah,
you got to be careful. Some of these stamp the letters on the thing. Mamish Rishayim. Mamish Rishayim. Right. But no, what I'm pointing out is like some things you say, like Rabbi, to open before Shabbos, that's ridiculous. What, I have to go open up every bag of chips? And what's that 1 second? No, that's Tom. That's another figure that was tonight base. We didn't say Shem Zalman said you don't rip letters. But Sam, yogurts might be the type of thing that like it's a very simple lechatchila. You buy a pack of yogurts, there's 8 of them, you crack them when you put them into the fridge. And l'chayra, not l'chayra, Shem Zalman told us 10 times the lechatchila is not getting out of the chayla. So that's definitely the right mahalich. But now you want to know if not, then it is mutter. Let's finish up over here. He says in ice. What I don't even know of another case. Okay. He says in ice mem. He says, which is you would think is melachas b'chatich. It's not. I didn't say that he is obviously machmir. And finally, what's saying last halacha chaver because Yud Beis is really the end. And tomorrow we're going to do the Tanayim with the footnotes, which is going to add a lot of beef over here. But in Yud Beis, also I just want to point out, the way this sefer was written. This is when you put in chayrim, meaning the people that write it. But it was written for the average Joe to read and understand it. It was not written that I looked something up and in the footnote he says it's ulcer and the top he says it's mutter and therefore you're not allowed to do it. So if he's being makel on the top, that means that's a psak halacha, and also the other way. When he's machmer on top and the bottom, he says Shemati Shem Zalme and Ulay Evsher. That means it's not kalat. You have to realize the sefer was written. The sefer was written for a balabas. Now I'm not saying you can't be mitzaref l'oshitais, but the sefer was written like a normal guy. You read the sefer, so the normal thing you read, he says you let open the levens, finish. You let open the levens. Obviously, you have to be careful. He also said on the top to open them for Shabbos. Let's just finish your base. Chamutali kreis and yara tifa shel shokolad. Let open up a package of chocolate. As kisoya plastic and machases a pakaka bakbuk. You let it open up the covering of the plastic that covers the top of a bottle. And now what exactly that means, I'm not sure yet. That's called coffee, you know, that inside foil. Which, by the way, is very difficult. Because one of the Tanaim in Bees was not to rip the letters. And anyone that's ever opened a coffee package of like Taster's Choice, yes, you open up some other ones, they open nicely. But good old-fashioned Taster's Choice, I've yet, and this was quite a fight at one point, I've yet to see anyone that's opened them without ripping the letters. The best I got was, the best I got was, no. If you do it very slowly, it works. Very, very slowly, it works. And the person went and very, very slowly until they got way halfway, and then they ripped it. I'm just saying, the mice you end up ripping the letters. We'll pick up from here.